Hello everyone, Jeff with the Green Review. Traditional gardens often take up a lot of space because they're built with large aisles, partly to allow for good air circulation, partly for easy tilling of weeds, and partly to allow for the growth of spreading plants. Raised beds, straw bales, and container gardens are using the space more efficiently, and the aisles can be a lot smaller between the beds. Small space gardening uses vegetable varieties that have a more compact growth habit. You'll see these smaller plants listed as petite, bush, compact, or determinate. A raised bed garden can improve the plant to environment thrive range compared to landscapes with poor soil or poor drainage. New soil will need to be added, and it can have more organic matter. The raised soil will drain better. If there are trees or shrubs nearby, installing a layer of weed barrier fabric on the existing soil will help prevent the roots from coming up into the new soil that's above the old root system. The walls of a raised bed can be wooden or plastic boards, cement blocks, or natural stones. Don't use boards that have been treated with preservatives that might leach out into the soil. The boards can be painted with exterior house paint. That'll slow down the decay process. Even though the walls of the garden don't have to be taller than 6 inches, they can be more than 2 feet high to make the garden accessible to people who have a difficult time bending over or maybe even in a wheelchair. A tabletop garden is a raised bed on legs. Less soil is used and the height can be set for the user, and it can be set up to be accessible for wheelchairs. A tabletop garden may have a glass or plastic cover to help protect the plants in cool weather. The square foot gardening method is a very successful type of raised bed. It can be used in small spaces and on hard surfaces. There are several benefits to using this gardening technique. The garden can be built close to the house and a water source. It uses fresh, sterile soil, so there are fewer weeds. One of the main features of a square foot garden is managing it 1 square foot at a time. As each crop finishes in a square foot, a new one is installed. There is no wasted space in a square foot garden. It uses a box made from 2x6 boards, 4 feet long. The 4x4 box allows for a compact 16 square feet of garden space. The soil used in the box is a mix of 1/3 peat moss, 1/3 compost, and 1/3 vermiculite. This creates a very well drained, thrive range soil that still holds plenty of water. Almost all roots on vegetable plants grow in the top 6 inches of soil, so the box is plenty deep. Maybe the best thing is that the soil is weed-free. Many vegetable gardens are overwhelmed in midsummer at the peak of harvest because too many weeds discourage the gardener and reduce the production. Because the soil mix is brought to this garden, it can be built anywhere. I grew a square foot garden on an asphalt parking lot. It produced slightly less than another square foot garden in a nearby lawn. And it's partly because of the heat of the surrounding parking lot. Trellises and tomato cages can help square foot gardens grow upward to use less ground space. There's a cost to build the box and buying the soil mixture, but it can be lessened starting a new garden in the backyard. It has a higher success rate than a typical garden, which will help you want to stay in gardening rather than giving up. If you decide you like vegetable gardening, you can build additional square foot gardens, and they can be made longer. Just keep one dimension at 4 feet for easy access to the middle. The benefits of this style of gardening are described by Mel Bartholomew in his Square Foot Gardening book that is available at bookstores or on his website, squarefootgardening.com. An EarthBox is a great container for vegetables. It has easy-to-use watering reservoir that allows the plants to water themselves so they can stay in their thrive range for water. Water is not wasted as it is in regular garden plots. It uses a sterile soil mix so there are no weeds, and the fertilizer is installed at the beginning of the season using either regular fertilizer or an organic version. They can be moved on the optional wheels that are supplied. The EarthBox can be moved into sunny spots of the yard, and a trellis can be installed so tall plants and vines can grow in the box. The box is about 2.5 feet long by 1 foot tall and wide, and it will hold 2 tomatoes or 4 peppers or a variety of other quantities of plants. I've used one for several years and I highly recommend it. They're available at many garden centers and on the internet. So what's this mean to me? Both an EarthBox and a square foot garden are weed-free, easy to water, and can be installed wherever there is sunshine. And all the plants are easy to reach. They can both be used on paved surfaces. The square foot garden can be 4 feet wide by any length. It's the perfect garden for the brand new gardener. And you can also use straw bales and containers, because those are both kind of easy to take care of, weed-free gardens, because you're going to fill the containers with your fresh potting mix, and you're going to the straw bales don't have very many weeds. If they have a little bit of grass growing on the top, they're easy to pluck out. They don't have the big weeds that a lot of vegetable gardens are going to have in a backyard where you're just tilling up garden soil. And this is Jeff with the Greener View. Thanks for watching.